Good afternoon, students. Welcome back to chemistry class. Today, let us continue the lesson Carbon and its compounds. In the previous class, we have learned what is a covalent bond and the covalent bond formation in some molecules like H2, O2, N2, water molecule, ammonia and methane. Today, we are going to learn about allotropic forms of carbon. Before that, we will see what is meant by allotropy. Allotropy is defined as the property of an element as a result of which it exists in more than one forms that are physically different and chemically similar. That means same element exists in different forms having different physical properties but same chemical properties. As they are existing in different forms, their physical properties are different. What are these physical properties? It can be the physical properties are like melting point, boiling point, density, all these are physical property. And chemical property, why it is same? Because these are all the same element. So, same element existing in different forms having different physical properties but same chemical property. Similar chemical properties are called allotropes. So, let us see what are the allotropes of carbon. Mainly carbon is having two allotropic forms, crystalline forms and amorphous forms. Crystalline means having a definite structure. Amorphous form don't have a definite structure. Diamond, graphite and fullerene, these are the three crystalline forms of carbon, allotropes of carbon. Amorphous forms, coal, charcoal, lamp black, or it is also called soot, coke and gas carbon. This charcoal again classified into wood charcoal, sugar charcoal and burnt charcoal. So, today in this lesson we are going to learn in detail about only the crystalline forms. I think this amorphous form we have studied in lower classes. Now, which are the crystalline forms of carbon? Diamond, graphite and fullerene. So, let us see their structures. Structure of diamond. In diamond, each carbon atom is bonded to 4 other carbon atoms forming a rigid 3-dimensional structure. You can see here one carbon, it is bonded to 4 other carbon atoms. And due to this only, the hardest substance present in nature is diamond. The reason for the hardness is its structure. This is called a tetrahedral structure that you are going to learn in detail in higher classes. So, this one carbon is bonded with 4 other carbon atoms. They are in different planes. So, this is a 3-dimensional structure. Now, let us see graphite. In graphite, each carbon atom is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms in the same plane, giving a hexagonal array. So, here one carbon is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms. Already you know the valency of carbon is 4. But here one carbon is bonded to only 3 other carbon atoms. But among this, one bond is a double bond. So, one carbon bonded to 3 carbon atoms, 2 are single bonds and 1 is a double bond. So, totally 4 bonds. So, the valency of carbon is satisfied. So, one of these bonds is a double bond and thus the valency of carbon is satisfied. Graphite structure is formed by the hexagonal arrays being placed in layers one above the other. You can see here one carbon is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms forming a hexagonal structure. This is a hexagon. This is a hexagon. So, these are all in the same plane. Like that, different hexagonal structures are arranged one over the other. This is one plane, this is another plane. So, hexagonal arrays being placed in layers one above the other. So, we have seen now diamond, it is having a 3-dimensional structure. One carbon is bonded to 4 other carbon atoms. Graphite, it is having a structure, hexagonal structure in the same plane. And these hexagonal structures are arranged one above the other. So, because of these structures, difference in structures between the diamond and graphite, they are having different properties. So these two different structures result in diamond and graphite having very different physical properties, even though their chemical properties are the same. So what is the reason for the difference between diamond and graphite in their physical properties? Because of their difference in structures. Now let us see what are the difference between diamond and graphite. You know, diamond is the hardest substance, but graphite is smooth and slippery. Another difference is graphite is a very good conductor of electricity, but diamond is a bad conductor of electricity. So these two differences, the reason is because of their difference in structure. Now another crystalline allotrope of carbon is fullerene. The first one among the fullerene is identified was C60, which has carbon atoms arranged in the shape of a football. So since this looked like the geodesic dome designed by the US architect Buckminster Fuller, the molecule was named fullerene. So it is similar to the geodesic dome. That's the reason it is given the name fullerene. So which are the three crystalline allotropes of carbon? Diamond, graphite and fullerene. And we have studied their structures also. We have studied the difference between diamond and graphite. Next, we will study the versatile nature of carbon. That means why carbon is already we have seen in the previous class, carbon forms large number of compounds. So millions of compound carbon is forming. So the total number of compounds formed by the carbon, it is greater than the total number of compounds formed by all other elements. So what is the reason for this? We'll see. Mainly because this formation of large number of compounds by carbon is two reasons. One is catenation, another one is tetravalency. So let us see what is meant by catenation. Carbon has unique ability to form bonds with other atoms of carbon, giving rise to large molecules. This property is called catenation. That means it is a self-linking property of carbon. One carbon forms bonds with the other carbon and a large molecule is formed. So this linking can be through a long chain, a straight chain, or it can be branched chains, or it can be rings or closed structure. So you can see here straight chain, one carbon is linked to the other carbon and form a straight chain. Here you can see only 4 carbon, but large number of carbon can be bonded in this way. Next you can see here in the straight chain there is a branch. So this different branches can be there, one branch or more than one branch also can be there in same compound. So that is a branched chain. Next you can see here ring structure, that means there is a closed structure. It can be here you can see only 3 carbon atom in the structure, here 4, it can be 5, 6, all 7, etc. So here you can see 3 carbon in closed structure, it forms a triangular shape. If 4 carbons, it forms a rectangular or a square shape. If it is 5 carbon, a pentagonal shape it will be having. And if it is 6 carbon, hexagonal shape, etc. So carbon forms bond with other atoms of carbon, giving rise to a large molecule. This property is called catenation. So this carbon can be linked with other carbon to form a straight chain or a branch chain or a closed chain. Next, no other element exhibit the property of catenation to the extent seen in carbon compounds. Some element form, for example, silicon forms with other forms, other silicon atom forming some 6 or 7 atoms it can link together, but not more than that. So why the other elements are not exhibiting the property of catenation? Only carbon exhibit the property of catenation. So the reason is the carbon-carbon bond is very strong and hence it is stable. This gives rise to a large number of compounds with many carbon atoms linked to each other. So why carbon is forming such large number of compounds? Because the strength of the carbon bond is more than any other bond. So the carbon bond is very strong and so it is stable. That's the reason carbon is forming such a large number of compounds. Next we'll see the other reason why carbon is forming such large number of compounds. That is tetravalency. That means the versatile nature of carbon. Another reason is tetravalency. What is meant by tetravalency? Tetra means 4. You know already the carbon's valency is 4. So since carbon has valency of 4, it is capable of bonding with 4 other atoms of carbon or atoms of some other monovalent element. What is meant by monovalent element? Whose valency is 1. Mono means 1. So compounds of carbon are formed with oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, chlorine and many other elements, giving rise to compounds with specific properties which depend on the elements other than the carbon present in the molecule. That means already we have seen carbon is forming bond with carbon atoms and large molecule is formed. And other than this carbon, it can link to other atoms also like oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, chlorine, etc. So in this lesson, we are going to learn detail about these compounds. So the bonds that carbon forms with most other elements are very strong, making these compounds exceptionally stable. Now we'll see what is the reason why carbon is forming a strong bond compared to other elements. One reason for the formation of strong bonds by carbon is its small size. This enables the nucleus to hold on to the shared pairs of electrons strongly. You have already seen that carbon forms covalent bond. That means by sharing the electron between the atoms. So as the carbon size is very small, its nucleus can hold this shared pair of electrons more strongly. That's the reason carbon can form strong bonds. The bonds formed by elements having large atoms are much weaker. So we have seen now the two characteristics features seen in carbon is tetravalency and catenation. So because of this only the carbon form a large number of compounds. So many have the same non-carbon atom or group of atoms attached to different carbon chains. Next we'll see what is meant by organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is the branch of chemistry that deals with the carbon compounds, excluding simple salts such as carbonates, oxides and carbides. So, these carbonates, oxide and carbide are not included in organic chemistry. For example, calcium carbonate, sodium carbonate, calcium oxide, these are carbon dioxide, oxides of carbon monoxide. Even though carbon is present in these compounds, they are not included in organic chemistry. The organic chemistry means the branch of chemistry deals with the carbon compounds, excluding these compounds like carbonates, oxides and carbonates. So why they are not included in organic chemistry? So for that, let us see the definition of organic compounds. The compounds of carbon that contain at least one CH bond, carbon-hydrogen bond, are called organic compounds. So we have seen now carbonates and oxides of carbon, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. These are, even though carbon is present in them, they are not included in organic chemistry. The reason, in those compounds, carbon-hydrogen bond is not present. So organic compounds are carbon compounds, carbon containing compounds, but at least one carbon-hydrogen bond should be present in them. So what are organic compounds? The compounds of carbon that contains at least one carbon-hydrogen bond. They are called organic compounds. Now, organic compounds were initially extracted from natural substances, and it was thought that these carbon compounds or organic compounds could only be formed within a living system. That means earlier it was believed that organic compounds can be prepared only from natural substances. So for that a vital force is required. So that is called vital force theory. So later the scientist Friedrich Wöhler, he disproved this vital force theory. In 1928, he prepared urea. Urea is an organic compound, but he prepared this from an inorganic compound, ammonium cyanide. That is not a natural substance. This ammonium cyanide is not a natural substance. So from inorganic compounds also organic compounds can be prepared. This is proved by the scientist Friedrich Wöhler. So the vital force theory was disproved. Earlier it was believed that only from natural substances organic compounds can be prepared. So today we have learned the allotropes of carbon, mainly three allotropic forms, diamond, graphite and fullerene. The structures of these compounds we learn, their properties we learn. Next we learn the versatile nature of carbon. Why the carbon forms such large number of compounds. The main reason for that is catenation and tetravalency. We learned what is meant by catenation and what is tetravalency. Hope you understood today's class. Thank you, children.